Hello again, everybody. Today we're going to go a completely different direction from the channelings that I've been doing recently. Today we're going to go into a little bit of a lesson on overtone singing. I've got some notes down here on my desk to the right, so you'll see me look down there occasionally. Um, Overtone singing, you've heard overtoning in my previous toning videos for the channeling where there's toning and there's light language, and sometimes the two for me are combined. And for this entire YouTube channel on channeling, I am absolutely just following my intuition. As I said in one of the previous videos, just about every morning, I do a cold ice bath, and then I go to the hot tub, and then I do another cold ice bath after that. And I get a lot of messages while I'm doing that. I meditate the whole time. I chant, I tone, I do whatever comes out. So for me, that period of time in the morning is very meditative, and so my spirit guides, my higher self, the universe, whatever you want to call it, talks to me in those times, and often gives me direction about what should be the next thing that I do on my YouTube channel. And I expected to post another Bigfoot video because that one's been kind of a hit. And there's a second one coming, so don't give up on me. It's coming in the near future. But a couple of days ago, while I was sitting in the hot tub toning, and particularly playing with the overtone singing, with the dual toning, some people call it throat singing. It's not technically the same as throat singing, but it often gets confused for that. And so anyway, I watched a bunch of the YouTube videos on overtone singing and techniques and how to do it, and I didn't have much luck with that. I got frustrated with it, as a matter of fact, because it didn't seem that I was being successful, and I really, really wanted to be. So, like most things that have come to me, it came to me spontaneously. It came to me one night while meditating in my pyramid at home. I have a copper and crystal pyramid in my garage, and that's where I meditate at night before I go to bed, and sometimes other times during the day. But one night when I was meditating and toning and chanting and light languaging and channeling and doing all the things that I do, I suddenly realized I was overtone singing. And I had not ever been aware of doing that before. I mean, I listened to the recording again, and I was definitely hearing two distinctly different sounds. And so it just kind of came to me spontaneously, just like the channeling did originally a couple of years ago. And so I thought, well, if it came to me spontaneously, I'm going to really, really pay attention to what it is that I'm doing with my body, what's happening in my mouth and my throat and my head that allows me to hear this second tone come through. And so I've been evaluating it very carefully for the last few days, because obviously if I'm going to put this into words, I can't just do it and then expect you to know what's going on inside of my mouth and my throat and my nose, etc. So I'm just going to kind of take you through a step-by-step of the things that I've become aware of as I've done this over the last year or so. For me, the first thing is to keep the sounds in your head, because that's where you're going to hear it first. And I think maybe that was one of the sources of my frustration, was I expected to be able to hear it just on a recording or just coming out of my mouth, and that is true today, but it wasn't true at the very beginning. And so I'm just going to start with what worked for me. I hope this works for many of you. It most certainly probably won't work for all of you, but everybody's different. And so I'm just going to teach what worked for me and how I broke it down once I heard it coming out of my mouth. So for me, the first thing is to put in noise canceling earbuds, something to keep the sound in your head. You can use noise canceling earbuds. You'll notice I'm wearing headphones right now, but I get my voice coming through the microphone going to my headphones at the same time. So these are acting exactly the same as noise canceling earbuds would, as far as keeping the noise in my head. If you don't have noise canceling earbuds, just a pair of those foamy earplugs would work, like what you use for noise. I might even have some here by my bed because I sleep with earplugs in. So these are just those little foamy earplugs. And of course, there are some that are shaped different than this, but the bottom line is these will block out external noise and also keep the sound in your head at the same time. Because when you first start doing this, the overtones will be subtle and you might not notice them if you don't keep the sound in your head some way. And so I would recommend either earplugs or noise canceling AirPods, or any kind of earbuds. And then the next thing that I noticed that really, really helped me was to open up my eustachian tubes in my sinuses between my mouth and my ears. That's the same thing you do when you pop your ears when you're flying in an airplane, and you have to hold your nose and pinch and blow in order to open those tubes up so that the air pressure can equalize. It's the same thing you do if you scuba dive and you pinch your nose and you blow and to open those tubes up. Um, so whatever technique you need to do, if you can get those eustachian tubes to open up and stay open, that's an additional avenue, an additional tube, literally it's a tube between your mouth and your ears. It's an additional channel for the tone to go up so you can hear it. Because as I said, it's going to be subtle at first, and you might miss it if you're not really, really listening. So if you can get those tubes to stay open, like when you yawn, it opens those up. And if you can figure out a way to keep those open, you might find a jaw position by moving your jaw forward or backwards or whatever you need to do. I know this is goofy faces, but oh well, I'm trying to teach here. Um, if you can keep your eustachian tubes open, that will improve the sound in your head. Going back to the same thing at the beginning, we want to keep this in your head. So noise canceling earpods or earplugs and opening your eustachian tubes, if you can keep them open, will resonate right up into your sinuses and your ears, and you'll be able to pick up those overtones much sooner than if you're expecting to hear them just come out of your mouth, because they will be soft at the beginning. So let's just start at the very, very beginning, and let's just figure out first what is just a basic tone. And if you've heard my previous channeling videos or audio, you will hear me most of the time. I find that I overtone more than I just simply tone. For me, just toning feels really, really good, but it's down in my chest and it's in well, really, it resonates through my chest and in my entire torso. As soon as I begin to add the overtone, it takes on much deeper of a meditative feel. I can meditate with just tones, but the overtones kind of take me into that meditative state much sooner. So let me just do a little bit of very, very simple overtoning so that you can hear what I'm talking about, and then I'll describe a little more precisely what I'm doing. So this is just a basic tone, and I won't overtone. I'll just do a basic tone, which is it's very clear. There's nothing on top of it. It's just a tone. Now, what I'm going to do next is I'm going to do the same tone, but I'm going to move my tongue, the base of my tongue, back. And so I'm going to move the microphone out of the way just a little so that you might be able to see this a little better. You'll notice when I move my tongue, you see the muscles in the throat move. And that's one of the reasons sometimes they call it throat singing, is because you're doing things with your throat. If you've never done this before, the easiest way to practice it at the beginning is imagine you're trying to take the tip of your tongue and touch the uvula, that little hanging down thing in the back of your throat. Imagine that you're trying to touch that with your tongue. That moves the tongue as far back in your throat as it will go. And that will change the sound. But for what we're doing, don't worry about the tip of your tongue, because the tip of your tongue has very little to do with this technique, but it has everything to do with the base of the tongue, where the tongue moves. So you might practice at first trying to touch your uvula with the tip of your tongue, but then forget about the tip and just move the base of your tongue back. Same way, just, and you'll notice how much the throat muscles move. One of the other things that we'll do later on is what I would refer to as chewing the sounds, chewing the tones. You might like subtle little motions with your teeth, because when you move your teeth, it also moves your tongue, and it also changes the sound as it comes out. So, just kind of giving you a little overview of some of the things we do, but so let's start out with the very, very basics. So, at first, I'm going to just tone, and then I'm going to say the vowel sounds just using my tongue without moving my lips, or at least without moving them very much. It will sound very much like A, E, I, O, U, only without the U, with the oo, A, E, I, A, E, O, oo, just the throat sounds, just the toning sounds. And then doing that just with my tongue, not with my lips. And so let me give you just a little example of that. Notice that the main tone, the never changed. That's the basic tone, and that never changed. The rest of it is the overtone. That is the sound that comes from moving your tongue and saying the vowel sounds in your head, in your throat, in your mouth, without changing the basic tone. So let me do that again. I'll just start out with the tone. For me, I hear the loudest part of the overtone between the I and the O. It's the I-O. Those, in my head, that is the loudest of the overtone, is the I and the O. So that's a good way to practice, is just do the vowel sounds. And here again, it's about keeping the sound in your head until you begin to separate those two sounds in your mind. And you're going, oh, there it is. By golly, it works, because that's how it came to me. It was just accidentally. So that, I think, is something good to practice. And I don't have any way of knowing how long I practiced before I owned the fact that, hey, I'm doing this. Um, my channeling coach, Daniel Scranton, he can overtone with us. It almost sounds like a whistle coming out. And I've heard others on other YouTube videos that have the same volume of that overtone. I haven't achieved that yet. I don't know if that's just something will come to me with more practice, or whether that's just something that won't happen for me. I don't know. But what I found was that the more I did this, the easier it became, and the more I played around with it, the easier it came. And I'm hoping that you'll find the same thing. One of the other things that you can do, and I think I mentioned this earlier, is kind of chew the sounds as they come out by moving the teeth back and forth like that. Just not very far. You don't have to move them very far. It's just enough to change the sound. So let me give you just a little demonstration of that. And most of that is coming from moving the tongue. It's not actually moving the jaw that does much, but it takes muscles to move the jaw, and so that changes the shape of your throat. And so I also discovered that I can actually speak in the overtone voice. It's not as clear, of course, as speaking with your lips and using your whole mouth. But let me just try a little demonstration of that. So. I can shake it, 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 I can shake it. It's not clear, obviously, but it's just an example of the things that you can do with the overtone. And if you've heard my other videos, you're going to heard of a lot of light language. And for me, that's mostly what I do with the overtoning is the light language, the gibberish sounding stuff. But that takes me into a really deep meditative state. And so if you're practicing meditation and you've been chanting with meditation or you've been doing the om sound with meditation, you might find that doing a little bit of the nonsensical stuff that can come through the overtone is an additional deepening of the meditation. So I'll do just a quick little demonstration of that. Oh, and you'll notice that the basic tone, the stays constant. And so you want to be sure that you feel that same tone in your chest the entire time. The only thing that should change is the overtone. And so, anyway, I would love to know if these techniques have been helpful for you. Of course, oh, I forgot to say at the beginning, if you like this video or any of the other videos I've posted lately, please like, subscribe, and share with your friends, because the more of you that do that, the more people will get to hear this. And so anyway, I would love to hear how this works for you and other challenges that you're having. Or I don't intend for this to become a series of lessons, but it might develop into that once I get some feedback from challenges that you're having doing it. So anyway, that's really all that I have to say for today about the very basic techniques of overtoning. And I hope it works as well for you as it did for me, because I absolutely love it and I do it every single day, multiple times a day. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and we'll talk again soon. I love you all. Goodbye.